Kevin Holland used to be known as a UFC fighter, but after some recent heroic actions, he'll be known as a hero as well. Holland put his life in danger recently at a Houston sushi restaurant, and in today's video, we're going to be diving into the dangerous situation, what happened, who was involved, and how the issue was resolved. This is a pretty insane story, and this is a video you definitely will not want to miss, so stick around to get the full scoop. First up, a crazy moment at a sushi restaurant. Kevin Holland was enjoying a dinner of sushi with his uncle at a restaurant in Houston, Texas, when a gun was revealed and discharged in the ceiling of the restaurant on Monday, March 14, 2022. It is still unclear as to why the gun was pulled and what the intention of the gunman was, but once it was fired, Holland went to fight mode and did what he needed to do to disarm the wrongdoer. According to Holland, he was unsure as to what happened when he initially heard the gunshot ring out in the restaurant. He said that he mistook the shot for a bottle of champagne at first, as the party behind him was having a celebration. I thought it was maybe the people behind me popping a champagne bottle because they were having a birthday party, Holland continued. I realized quickly it wasn't champagne when I turned around, seeing people running and glass breaking. In the heat of the moment, I'm sure most people would have run and hid or called the police, but not Kevin Holland. Kevin struck into action and looked for a way to get behind the assailant and attack him with whatever he could find. But as he charged the gunman, he saw that he was pointing the firearm directly at him and his uncle, so he decided to attack him head on to prevent being shot. Holland got into a tussle with the man and was continuing to think about the safety of others and what would be the best way to disarm this man without having to risk other people being shot. Holland eventually disarmed the man and got him in a rear naked chokehold and held him there until the man was subdued. It was a truly heroic act that saved the lives of everyone in that restaurant, and all of them have Holland to thank. Next, Kevin Holland's retelling of the events. Holland was interviewed shortly after his heroic acts, and his retelling is truly haunting. For the next portion of this video, viewer discretion is advised, as he goes into detail about his struggle with the gunman. I grabbed the gun with the guy. We face it down towards the ground, and then I'm like, we're upstairs. This shouldn't be facing down, Holland told KPRC. So we point it facing up in the air. So as it's up in the air, he's pulling it still. I hit the wrist. The other guy pulls the gun free. I pull him back, sit him in my lap, put him in the rear naked choke, and yeah, we choked him out, and my uncle was there to pay attention to the guy's eyes. While this may be tough for some to listen to, and probably hard for Holland to recount, if it were not for him, there could have been more loss of life in a truly horrific mass shooting. But that was all avoided thanks to the actions of Kevin Holland, and I think the story is being criminally underrated. I mean, somebody put their life on the line to save the lives of others, and practically nobody is talking about this. As for the gunman, according to KPRC, we are unsure as the identity of the shooter, and we are unsure as to what his motive or intention was in bringing in a firearm to the restaurant, or why he fired it into the ceiling. The man was obviously subdued by Holland, but was later taken into police custody and put in jail. He is currently set at a $30,000 bond and is in jail on charges of unlawful carry of a firearm and deadly conduct. While this is a crazy situation that outlined Holland's incredible selflessness and bravery, we shouldn't be so quick to forget that this isn't even the first time Holland has stopped a crime. That's right, he actually stopped a crime back in October of 2021, and it is just as crazy as this one. Now, Holland might be a part-time vigilante. It is honestly kind of hilarious that he has not earned the nickname Batman or something at this point, considering how many crimes Holland has gone out of his way to stop. In addition to stopping this armed gunman at a sushi restaurant in Houston, Holland also stopped a carjacker back in October of 2021. Holland was in his own home late one night when he noticed a man trying to break into a car on his street, or waiting to make sure that it wasn't the owner of the car trying to get into his own vehicle. Holland did what anyone probably wouldn't do, unless of course you're a master combatant with a taste for justice, of course. He ran out his front door and chased this man down the street until he could fully catch up to him, and put him in a chokehold when he then called the police after the man was fully subdued. The man was taken into custody, and luckily for Holland, the man actually was trying to steal the car. But what a sight that must have been for the robber. A man as built as Kevin Holland is probably the last face you want to see running after you when you're trying to steal a car in a rich neighborhood. But I swear, Holland might want to invest in a movie-accurate Batman suit and go around fighting crime at night, because he is up 2-0 on criminals thus far, and Holland has shown that he hates losing and would likely win against any robber that challenged him to a fight. Next, we have Kevin Holland's UFC record and career highlights. Kevin Holland is fresh off his last fight, which took place on March 5th, 2022 at UFC 272. This was Holland's first fight since his no contest bout in October of 2021. If you missed that fight, let me fill you in on the events of that fight. Holland was facing off against Kyle Dawkins. When about halfway through the first round, the pair accidentally clashed headfirst, sending both of the fighters to the mat, which left Holland unconscious. It was a pretty gruesome accident, and people were unsure as to how Holland would bounce back. Of course, Holland bounced back excellently and took home a big win against Alex Oliveira, thanks to a vicious string of elbows early in the second round. Holland's win against Oliveira earned Holland his 22nd professional victory, making his record go to 22-7-1 all time. Holland hasn't lost since his bout with Marvin Vettori back in April of 2021, which was the second loss of a 2-fight loss streak, which started with Holland's losing to Derek Brunson only a month prior. It's good to see Holland in the win category again after 2 tough unanimous decision losses and a no contest ruling. But fans are of course wondering, when can we expect to see him in the ring next, and who will he be fighting? Because if he stays out of the ring too long, he may just take to the streets and start hunting down criminals full time. Who will Holland Holland be fighting next, and when will it be? Holland's most recent bout saw him go back to the welterweight class, which sees fighters from 156 pounds to 170 pounds. Holland was fighting at a much heavier 185 and knew that he needed to return to a weight class more suited for him. After beating Oliveira, he is almost likely going to remain at this weight class, as he has proven to us and himself that he has no problem competing at that weight class. As for the next matchup, nothing is official with either the when or the who, but in an interview prior to his bout with Oliveira, Holland mentioned some names that he would like to take on in the ring. Holland called out Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman, and Khamzat Chimaev. He stated that these three would be difficult opponents and that if he was able to fight any of them, they would prove to be difficult matchups. But he went on in the same interview to call literally every other fighter at this weight class awful. Holland said, "Other than that, everybody else is getting dog walked. I'm running these fools over. I don't care if they got an undefeated record or not. I'm going to show them who the big man is at 170. Those are some pretty bold words, but I definitely admire the confidence. I mean, he did win a fight against a guy who literally had a gun, and that seems like a pretty unfair advantage to me. Joking aside, he finished the interview by saying that he one day hopes to return to 185 and take on Israel Adesanya so he can defeat the champ who claims to be the only striker left around here. That's all we have for you guys today on the channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all in the next video.